Well, hello guys. I'm going to say right now, this is really weird for me. I usually don't make videos like this. I usually am not sitting behind a camera like this. I'm normally playing 7 Days to Die with no camera on, or if I'm streaming, I have a little tiny camera off to the side. I'm not used to seeing my big old mug blown up like this. But today we're going to be talking about the state of 7 Days to Die. And I just want to say thank you to Jawoodle for making that video he did yesterday. It needed to be done. And I think it needed to come from someone like him to open that door for the rest of us creators and for the rest of the community to almost have like an open letter to the 7 Days to Die developers, the Fun Pimps, like saying, hey, things need to change. Like we don't want this DLC. We don't want what 2.0 has. Like we don't want this linear game that we have now. When we used to have an open world survival game, now we have a linear game. We don't want this. We want what we used to have. So today I'm not going to be saying everything that Jawoodles said. I'm not going to be repeating his video. If you guys want to go watch his video, I highly recommend going to watch it. I'll leave the link in the description. I agree with everything he said, 100%. I think everything he said is spot on. And so I'm not going to sit there and reiterate everything. You got to remember, my history with 7 Days to Die, most of it has been on Legacy Console. Legacy Console is the old console version, Xbox One, PS4. And so I started my YouTube channel on Legacy, and I made over 500 Legacy videos of 7 Days to Die. So most of my history there. And so I sympathize with the console community and what they're feeling right now. I mean, the console community had to rebuy this game for $45. PC just had to upgrade to 1.0. Console had to rebuy this game. And this is what has console got since they've spent that $45? I sympathize with you guys. I really do. So today's video, it's going to be a ramble fest probably. I'm going to try to stay on track. I have a list over here that I'm going to try to stay on with. So I'm going to try to stick to my list, but I'm also going to have some complaints. I'm probably going to have some rants. I'm going to try to keep this video under 30 minutes, no guarantees. So what I'm going to try to do in this video is stay on track, but also lay out maybe a blueprint of what needs to change. What needs to change in this game? The things we don't like, the things we liked before that needs to come back. And that's what we need. That's what I'm going to try to do. Let me know in the comments. A, what do you guys think of Jawoodles' video? Do you guys agree with everything he said? And then B, what is your blueprint? What do you guys need to see in this game to change to be happy with it again? Like, is there a certain thing that's missing? Are you not happy with the storms, the biome badges, how this game is linear now? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love to hear it. And maybe the Fun Pimps will read the comments. Who knows? And the first thing I wanted to start with was this isn't the game I fell in love with. And this isn't the game that a lot of us fell in love with. Like I said, I started in Legacy. And Legacy, you start in, you do your opening quest, and then that's it. You are on your own. You don't know where the trader is. You don't know where any towns are unless you're playing Navezgane. But if you're playing a random world, you have no idea where anything is. You do know where Hub City is. Hub City used to be at 0-0, so you kind of knew to stay away from 0-0 on the map, but that was truly an experience. Day one in Legacy was like, it was scary. And you never went to the wasteland, ever went to the wasteland. Or if you went to the snow, you immediately started freezing. Or if you went to the desert, you immediately started overheating. You stayed in the pine forest. And that's how that game was. It truly was a survival experience. And you were starving for the first 5 days. You were really struggling on water, and finding a town was great, but there were so many zombies to deal with in the towns. That's the game I fell in love with. Alpha 16 was amazing. It added to Legacy. It added electricity. We had so many new different zombies and POIs. Alpha 18 changed a few things. We got rid of the learn by doing system and all that stuff, but go back to it. This is not the game that I fell in love with. And the game we have now is like a linear RPG experience. It's almost like the devs are saying, here is how we want you to play it. Play it this way, or we're going to punish you. And like I said, I sympathize with the console community. And what did the Fun Pimps do for the console people? I mean, yes, I know that Telltale Games, we all know the story. Telltale Games went under. They lost the license. They had to rebuy it. So they're going to release the game back to console people. And then they jacked the price up to $45. And it's just that whole thing right there, 1.0 started off so bad with the console community. They were already pissed off. And so, and then to add the DLC, and now with 2.0 coming out, and it's kind of lackluster and it's kind of pushing the game backwards. I think a lot of people a lot of the console people in general feel shafted about this. They really do. And they've been shafted once before with the Telltale game. So the console community has taken the shaft, basically. And I really hope the devs know that. You want them to buy this DLC. You want them to spend money on DLC that was supposed to come out in 1.0. Why not give the console people some of this DLC for free, or throw them a bone? I mean, hey, we know that you guys went through a lot with Telltale. We know that we jacked the price up. We know that you guys are crashing a lot. We know that you guys didn't have dedicated servers for the longest time. So here's a bone. We understand that. I think something like that would just help out a little bit. I really do, but they don't do that. And I've said from the beginning, when console was getting released back to 1.0, I think it would be really cool if PS5 and Xbox have their own skins. I think it'd be really cool. Fortnite does it where, if you play Fortnite on Xbox, you have access to the Halo Master Chief collection. So if you are rocking a Master Chief skin, everybody knows you're on Xbox. Everybody knows. And I'm not saying they have to have a Master Chief skin in 7 Days to Die, but it'd be cool if they had a PlayStation specific skin that you got if you played on PlayStation, or an Xbox specific skin on Xbox. If they want to do these DLCs, I get it. Maybe they're trying to make up lost revenue. Maybe they're trying to build up revenue for a new game. Is Blood Moon's draining their pockets? I don't know what's going on with this DLC, but something like that would be really cool. Okay, I've rambled a whole lot, and I haven't even got on track yet, guys. So let's start with 2.0. Let's jump into this 2.0 mess that we have right now. How many have reverted back to 1.4? How many have not upgraded to 2.0? How many went back to Alpha 16? There's a lot just going back to Alpha 16 right now, which is awesome. I love Alpha 16. These Biome badges, they don't do it for me. They really don't. So you're basically saying, okay, you're going to start in the Pine Forest, which in my opinion, the game looks the best in the Pine Forest. It looks gorgeous in the Pine Forest. But let's say you want to have a desert series, or let's say you want to have a snow series. I personally love the snow biome. That's my favorite biome of all. You cannot just go straight to the snow biome. You cannot go straight to the desert biome. You have to go get these biome badges. And they're kind of, the quests you got to do are okay, but like surviving in the biome for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay, you just build a shelter and stay underground and get that. I don't know. The biome badges don't do anything for me at all. And they're kind of boring. Like they're a little badge. Why couldn't they be something cool like a gas mask? Or I've seen a couple of people in the community suggest like, okay, let's do the trader quest. Let's do 9 trader quests. And the 10th one is a very specific quest that Rex sends you to. There's a bunker that he's going to send you to. And so you clear the bunker. Maybe it's a tier 1, tier 2 bunker. And at the very end, you get a gas mask. And okay, now you can go to the burnt biome or something like that. So now you have a gas mask, and it could be the same for the desert. You complete that final quest, and maybe there's a boss at the end or something like that. And you get the duster for the desert. You get a puffer coat for the winter biome. And then maybe you get a hazmat suit for the wasteland. And that's just an idea. There's a lot of different ideas out there. Some have talked about constructing an actual suit, like maybe a burnt biome suit or maybe a desert suit that is like all mods that you put on your armor. I mean, people have all talked about this, but just a little badge that you get and it just disappears. I don't know, man. In the game, we used to have rad suits. We used to have puffer coats. We used to have dusters. We used to have all this stuff in the game, and it was all taken out. And we used to have different mods for it, insulator liner mod and stuff like that. All that was taken out. It's all there. I don't know if it's still in the code or whatever, but it's all there for these things to come back. Add them back into the game. Get rid of these badges. Okay, biome loot caps. Whose idea was the biome loot caps? I have no idea. How many people, let me know in the comments, how many people just like to hang out in the forest the entire game? There's a lot of people that used to like to play this game. They like to spawn into the forest. They don't do quests. They might do a little looting and stuff, but they like to just build a base and hang out. And that's fine, I guess, for loot caps. But for people that just want to have a main base in the forest and maybe branch out, go to the desert for oil shell, go to the wasteland to do some looting, but they want to have a main base in the pine forest, the loot caps make no sense. Why is this an open world, free to roam survival game that is not free to roam? That is not, you cannot stay in the pine forest. You will be penalized. Like, what is the loot caps? I don't get it. Those just need to go. Like, in my personal opinion, loot caps need to go. Just go bye-bye. Now, I am all for higher loot stages in each biome. I'm all for that. So if you want to go on a looting run and you want to find better loot, yes, go to the wasteland, go to the snow. But I don't understand these loot caps. I really don't. And I'll say, guys, what made me fall in love with this game and like games like Fallout 3, like Elder Scrolls, any of those, The Witcher 3, was exploration. I love exploration. If you guys go back and watch any of my legacy content, that's what I did the most. Everybody's like, Spartan, build a base. Spartan, we want to see a horde base. I wanted to go explore. I wanted to find every nook and cranny of that map. I always wanted to find Taza's Stone Axe burial site, stuff like that. I always wanted to do that. And it just feels like this current version does not reward exploration. You cannot explore. You cannot leave the pine forest until you get your biome badge. And then B, the loot caps. I mean, this current version of the game literally kills you for being an explorer. If you decide to go to the burnt biome without that badge, you're going to die. I mean, that's just how it is. Okay, Spartan, so you don't like how it is. How should it be? And that's how I wanted to make this video. Like, okay, you have a gripe, but tell me what you think it should be. Like, what needs to be changed? Like, we can gripe all day about this game, but I think we need to come together and say, hey, this is how we want it. This is what we want. And that's what I'm telling you guys in the comments. Hey, leave some comments down there what you guys think the game, what changes need to be made. But as far as the biome badges, get rid of them. Just get rid of the biome badges and go back to, it sounds like they're trying to make the biomes harder with, the bubbleheads in the wasteland, the frost claws in the snow, the desert spitters in the desert, and the feral burnt zombies in the burnt biome. Like, they have the blueprint there that these biomes should be hard on their own without the badges. So if you go to the burnt biome, you're going to be dealing with feral burnt zombies immediately. Like, they're just there. They're very fast. They've killed me before. Or if you go to the desert, you're going to be dealing with the plague spitters, which really aren't that bad. The frost claws are easy to kill. But each biome should be extremely hard to go in early game. They should be. Yeah, you can go there if you want. If you want to go explore, it's kind of like Fallout 3 when you spawn in. DC is off to the east. So, but if you go to DC, you're going to get killed. You're going to get killed by the enemies in DC. So that's how it should be. You shouldn't be killed by just not having a badge. You should be killed by the entities in that biome. That's my personal opinion. And that's how the game used to be. If you went to the snow biome on Legacy, lumberjacks were so hard to deal with. I mean, they would not go down with a wooden club. They just wouldn't. And if you went to a hub city, you were mauled by feral whites and every other zombie in the game. Okay, storms, I get storms. I got it. Like, they really wanted to add storms. And I do think on paper, I think storms is a good concept. I really do. I just think the way they did it was so rushed. I don't know what the thought process was. Okay, we're going to have these storms. They're going to look kind of cool, but they're going to be very generic, and they're just going to kill you. Like this, that's it. You get no reward for beating them. There is just nothing. It's just a storm. Like, why not let the biome smoothies that are literally used once in the entire game to just get through the biome? Why not let the biome smoothies maybe give you some type of buff for the storms? Maybe it doesn't let you be a Superman during the storms, but maybe it lets you survive during the storms. I really do like that all the zombies are like nightmare speed or whatever they are during the storm. I like that a lot. If you're going to loot during a storm, you're going to be fighting some really nasty zombies. Maybe have some armor that we have to craft, an armor mod that lets you maybe resist the storm a little bit more. I don't know. My feelings on storms are I just turn them off. I turn them down to 50% or I turn them off. they're just kind of a nuisance to me. And I do like the thrill of the storm coming in, and then you just try to find any POI to duck into, and it's filled with zombies. Like, that's a cool rush. But when you're just building a horde base, or let's say you only have an hour to jump on the game with your buddies, and then a storm happens, that's like 10 minutes that you don't get to game with your buddies. Or you just have to do a bathroom break. Like, there's just, I don't know. It needs to be reworked. I'm not a game developer. I didn't come up with this game, so that's the ideas I have. I'm sure you guys have a lot better ideas for the storms, and let me hear them in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And I really do think DLC needs to be paused till this game is like done. Like, I really do. I don't think we should be having people pay for skins that were shown off in 1.0. Everybody kind of thought we were going to get these skins in 1.0, but I really do think that DLC needs to wait until this game is done. Like, I really do. I like the Frost Claws. The Desert Spitters, I think, are, I don't know. They're just annoying at this point. I've killed so many of them. I don't know. But I do like the Frost Claws. I'm a huge, look at I have Bigfoot all over my wall. I'm a huge Bigfoot fan. I wish he was more of a Bigfoot. I really do think they need to add a Bigfoot into the Pine Forest. Maybe if you kill a deer or a rabbit, it just appears and like tries to murder you or something like that, because he's like the protector of the forest. Okay, let's move on from 2.0. We've yapped about 2.0. Everybody's not happy with 2.0. We got that. What other changes do I think the game needs to make to bring it out of whatever it is now? Now, I personally think the Learn by Magazine system needs to go. I think we need to go back to Learn by Doing. Do I think it needs to be like Legacy, where if you craft 100 stone axes in the middle of the night, now you can make a level 60 stone axe? No, I think the Alpha 16 version was perfect. I really do. You know, you get better at doing certain things, and then you can put points into maybe crafting a better stone axe or crafting a better spear, whatever. So you can add points to whatever you want to craft better, but you get better at doing certain actions. So I think Alpha 16 was the best balance of what we had. The magazine system it's good on paper. It probably helps out the XML files for consoles and stuff like that. And I personally think a lot of these changes that were made since Alpha 16 were just to be able to make the game run on consoles. I really do. Or just run better on some of the lower end PCs. But I think Learn by Doing and action skills need to come back. I'd really like to see random loot come back. Now, this whole, like, you can only find, pipe pistols on day 1, 2 in the Pine Forest, and you can only get those things. That's cool, but back in the Legacy days, I mean, you would search a car and maybe possibly find a level 400 auger on day 1. That made every playthrough random. Every playthrough was more random than the last one. You just didn't know how it was going to go. Or let's say you find an AK-47 somewhere in like a safe or something like that, or AK-47 parts, and you're able to make an AK-47. Let's say you were thinking about going sledgehammers that route. Well, guess what? Now you're an AK-47 wielder on day 1 or day 2. And it just made each playthrough so much more random. Not only were you looting to find stuff, but you just didn't know what you were going to find. We kind of know what we're going to find day 1 through 7. We're going to find pipe weapons. We're going to find a little bit of ammo. We're going to find some stone tools. Maybe we'll get lucky and find an iron pickaxe, but bring back the random loot. And that's something they talked about adding way back in like Alpha 21, was like a loot slider that we could adjust back and forth. That, let's say this playthrough, you want better loot early game. You could slide that slider. Let's say you want the game to last a lot longer than it usually does. You could back that slider way off so you don't start finding better loot until day, 30 or 40. They've talked about adding that slider. Maybe adding that slider in would be good, or just bring back complete random looting. I think that was so much fun on Legacy, and it made these playthroughs feel different each time, not just such a total grind. How about this? Could you imagine 2.0 spawning into 2.0 and not knowing where the trader is? You have to find it, just like in the old Legacy days, just like in the old way it was. Could you imagine spawning in and just, okay, you did your opening quest, now go find the trader. Now, I will say most of the time 2.0, we spawn in fairly close to the trader, but how about they just not tell us where the trader is? We got to find it. Now, I will say a lot of people like to do those 10 quests to get the bicycle really fast. And so maybe not finding the trader quick enough will kind of hurt that. But how about we make the bicycle easily craftable, not have it locked behind a workbench. You can craft the bicycle from your backpack, but you have to have the workbench for the parts, the bicycle parts. So why not make the bicycle something easily craftable? Or maybe like if you can find a passing gas, you can find the parts to make the bicycle and you can craft it from your backpack. Instead of having us do these 10 quests immediately to get the bicycle, why not make the bicycle easily craftable in the first couple of days? That way we're not feeling like we have to grind these 10 quests right away every single time we start a game. Every single time. It's the same thing. Do 10 quests, get your bicycle, go see Jen. You know, make it more open world. Make it more non-linear. These things would help that, I really do think, in my personal opinion. Okay, let's talk about water. Oh my gosh. First, everybody knows my thoughts on water. Water is useless in this game. Why do we have a river? Why do we have a lake? There is nothing to do with it. We don't have fishing. We don't have boats. We don't have fish. We have nothing in that water except it looks nasty, and they got rid of jars. So literally the only thing we do with water is we go up and we take a drink of it for one of our quests, one of our challenges, and we might get dysentery. We might. I'm okay with them bringing back glass jars and empty cans. I used to gripe so much about that's all we found. Like we found so many empty jars and cans and stuff like that. I'm okay with them bringing back jars. I think it was pretty cool to walk down to the river and fill up all your jars and come back. The dew collector is okay, but why? It looks like a rain collector. I think Jawoodles said that in his video too, but like, why can't we have jars and maybe go up to the dew collector and fill up that? Or maybe we can make a well or something like that. In Medieval Dynasty, we have a well that you can go up to and get water from. Maybe we can craft a well. I don't know. Water needs some work. It really does. I think fishing in this game would be really cool. I think being able to fish at night, one of your nighttime jobs you do, or just cool. Maybe when you're digging up clay, you get grub, you get worms, and you can use that for bait. I don't know. I think food needs to be way harder. Some of the mods make all the canned food and any food that you eat basically give you food poisoning or dysentery. I'm not saying we have to go that far, but food is not a challenge in this game, especially in single player. It is not a challenge. Like as soon as you get through the first couple days, you're going to have enough raw meat to make at least grilled meat or charred meat. You're going to have enough canned food you can buy from the trader. I just remember in the old version of this game, food was a struggle. Until you got bacon and eggs, food was an immense struggle. And I think food should be a struggle, especially in single player. I think you should almost force people to farm maybe, or something like that. And I'm talking about the devs forcing us to do something, but I think food should be more of a challenge. Do I know how to do that? No, I really don't. I just think that maybe adding food poisoning to some of these things we have, some of these food items we have would help. Maybe not getting as much meat from our kills. I don't know. Or like I said, maybe adding a Bigfoot that if you do attack an animal, he's going to murder you. I don't know. Something like that. I think we need some quality of life changes in the game, like craft from containers would be amazing. Maybe a little bit bigger backpack, something like that. Or maybe have a craftable backpack, you know, that we can craft and we can throw on our person that gives us more inventory space. Or maybe maybe an extra tool belt we can craft that gives us an extra slot on the tool belt. Crafting from containers would be amazing. If you're within your land claim block and everything is in storage, you can craft from that. You can upgrade blocks from that. You know, if you place down blocks, you have concrete mix in your storage, you can upgrade from it. I think those things would be amazing to this game. I do kind of miss the old gardening system from console days. I think we should bring back the old gardening system too. The old hoe, the fertilizer. We had to go and find fertilizer or craft fertilizer. And what happened to the old zombies? What happened to all the old, like the Western zombie, the football player, the behemoth? Now, apparently he's in the XML files still, so he might be coming. The behemoth might be making a return. Not that he was ever here, but he might be showing his face. But like, what happened to those old zombies? The football player was a fun one to find because if you found him on day one or you went to the high school or the football field, you were going to find a football player and they were always running. It's always feral zombie that ran and they had armor. They had a helmet on. So what happened to those zombies? Like bring back some more variety of zombies. And I know we got the frost claw and I know we got the desert spitter and I know we got the bubblehead and stuff like that. But I mean, bring back those old zombies. Is it that hard to bring them back? Was there something that was really buggy with them? I don't know. And we need more weapons. I mean, there are a lot of mod creators out there that are bringing in a lot of different weapons, but I think we really need more weapons. We really do. And I think some of the focus on the biome badges and the storms could have been put towards new weapons. It's just more variety. Like we have what, 5 melee options and about the same amount of weapons. Like we need more variety, in my opinion. Spice this vanilla game up a little bit. And I really do think that this needs to go back to a rewarding exploration game. You are rewarded for exploring, for just getting out there and doing something. Like right now, you're rewarded for doing the linear experience, for doing your quest, going to see each trader, doing what the devs want you to do, doing that particular quest at this time, doing it this way, doing the POIs as a dungeon style from top to bottom or from bottom to top, however they do it. Like reward the randomness, reward the player who wants to do his own thing, like maybe have a different play style. And I don't know how to do that. I really don't. Only thing I can think is maybe to have some really obscure random POIs like bunkers. I know we have some bunkers in the game now, but like have some, like, okay, we used to have in console, we used to have Taza's stone axe. The only way to find it was exploring. You had to explore the map. You had to go out in the middle of nowhere and find that. Add in some like obscure bunkers like that, some really cool bunkers that if you do find them, you're going to find some amazing loot, or you're going to find some really cool story items, or maybe find some DLC, maybe find the only way to find the PS5 specific cosmetic item is to go find this particular bunker and it's there at the very end. Something like that. Reward going off the grid, going off, the linear experience, reward that, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of things that could do to do that. And like I said, if you want to reward PS5 or Xbox players somehow, maybe have them go find a specific POI and do that. That'd be really cool, in my opinion. And I said this at the beginning of the episode. I know I've rambled, I've gone all over the place, but I really do think the game looks the best in the forest. It looks gorgeous in the forest. And it seems like the devs want us to get out of the forest as quick as possible and go to the burnt biome, go to the desert, go to the snow, go to the wasteland and stuff like that. But I really do think that the forest, get rid of the loot caps. I've said that before already, but get rid of the biome loot caps because there's nothing wrong with staying in the forest the entire time. Make it, if people want to stay in the forest, that's fine. What's wrong with that? Have them build their forest castle and stay there and then make that their home base and they can go out and explore the rest of the map. But they usually, after a couple days, they come back to their main base. Okay, and I just want to say, like, to the devs, and I know this is going to be hard to say, and I'm going to try to tread lightly on this because I mean the utmost respect to the devs. I really do. And to the other dev team, Logica, that's making Blood Moons. But this rhetoric that Blood Moons is not pulling away from 7 Days to Die, is not pulling us away from 7 Days to Die. They keep putting that rhetoric out there that, we are focused on 7 Days to Die. There's a whole other team doing Blood Moons. This is not pulling resources. Most of the community feels like Blood Moons is pulling resources from 7 Days to Die. That's how people feel. That's what it looks like. I mean, it looks like that. I mean, look how long 2.0 took to develop. And then look at the results of 2.0. And then they keep putting this Blood Moon stuff out on X and on, social media and stuff like that. That's the perception that's put out. So just to the dev team, like the overall perception is that Blood Moons is pulling resources from 7 Days to Die. And that there is a possibility that Blood Moons is causing some of this stuff, some of the problems with 7 Days to Die right now. That's how the community feels. And I've seen it from my comment section. I've seen it on other creators' comment section. You can see it on the comment section of almost every Blood Moons post. So I just want to say, maybe stop saying Blood Moons is not pulling resources away. It's okay if it does. I mean, you guys are publishing this game. It's gonna pull resources away. You guys are overseeing the development of the game. It's gonna pull resources away. Like, we get it. We understand it. But I think we're just tired of hearing that it's not pulling resources away, because in the end, that's how we feel that it is pulling resources. So that's all I wanted to say about Blood Moons. Let's move on. Now, I think there's this wall between the devs and the community right now. And I think some of it comes from console, how the console launch was handled and all that stuff. And I think some of it comes from 2.0, just not listening to the community. And I really do think the devs, if you guys watch this, if you guys watch this at all, like listen to the community, do something from some of these comments, some of these forum posts that, you know, they want to go back to action skills. They want to go, they want to get rid of biome loot caps or the biome badges. Like, it's okay to go back and say, okay, hey, we screwed up. You know, we really thought on paper this sounded good, but once we launched, you know, it wasn't really the greatest idea. And it's okay to go backwards. I think a lot of people would respect that. And I really do. And it's okay to do that. And it's okay to say, okay, hey, we're going to do some of these changes you guys want, but we're going to work on bandits now, or we're going to work on, you know, a new trader, new enemies and stuff like that. So we're going to buckle down. I know that we said our release date was here, but we're going to buckle down and we're going to get some of these things that you guys really want. And I think just that open communication back and forth would be really good. Okay, picture this, Alpha 16 with newer zombies, newer guns, and all the new POIs that we have. Could you imagine that? Would that not be the most perfect version, in my opinion? I mean, just think about that. That would be awesome. And I do just want to say the tier 5 POIs, the new POIs that were added are flat out amazing. Just amazing. Whoever was in charge of that, whoever worked on that, should be given the biggest pat on the back and a raise, because those POIs are frankly amazing. Like the design, how they work, all the different little features to them and stuff like that were amazing. And I think, yeah, that department or whoever's ahead of that is just frankly amazing in my opinion. All right, guys, I'm done rambling. I really do think that there needs to be some changes for 2.0. I think a lot of people are reverting back to 1.4. I think a lot of people are going back to Alpha 16. So yeah, I think that something needs to change. I think the devs need to listen to the community. I have met a lot of these devs in person. They're really good people, really, really good people. And they mean well. They want to put a really good product out there. They really do. And I think they really do care. I just think somewhere it's gotten lost. And it can happen. It can happen getting busy and stuff like that. But these are really good people. And I do think that this thing can be fixed. I really do. I think it'd be fixed really easy. This is one of the greatest games ever made, in my opinion. It really is. It is one of the greatest games ever made. I have so many hours in this game, and I'm not giving up on it. I'm going to keep playing. You know, I'm going to keep playing, and I'm going to hope for the best. That's all I can do. That's about it, guys. I think I'm done rambling. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Love to hear what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.